wants you. We can bring it on the floor. Never danced like this before. We don't talk about it.
Hey guys, what's cracking? It is Kraken Nation, coach of the Boston Bisharps, and today we are back with our very first video in a while. I apologize for that, but today we're going to be looking at our team building process and the team we came up with for week 3 of season 6 of the CSL. We are taking on Syracuse Sylveons, coached by Entertainment, a close personal friend, Daniel himself, and so he has a pretty cool, pretty intimidating, if I do say so myself, very intimidating team. And so I am very excited. We got right here, we got a nice kind of like graphic for you guys to look at while I talk about the team and how things looked at for the matchup. And then after that, this is kind of a new layout, I realized. But yeah, we're going to be looking at this team, looking at what kind of components I looked at piece by piece. And then finally, we're going to be looking at the team itself. So first up, I was terrified of his offense, and that's a fact. The biggest offensive Pokemon that really scared me was Feraligatr. You know, I was just ready to pee my pants over Feraligatr because it hits, after a +1, it can basically, at +1, it does like 2 KOs my entire team, OHKOs a majority of it. At +2, everything on my team is OHKO'd, except for Avalugg, but that's because that's Avalugg. But yeah, so I was ready to cry. I was extremely nervous about how I was going to match up against this team. But, sorry, grabbing some water. But beyond just Feraligatr, there's definitely some offensive threats that you got to be wary of. Houndoom, Latias, Terrakion are all very effective. But the biggest thing that really kind of, after tying those 4 really offensively dominant Pokemon together, will really seal the deal as far as what I'm scared of was Galvantula. Because all of a sudden, Scarf, Victini, my more effective anti-offense mon, so things like Garchomp and Victini, even like a Scarf Tentacruel or something, maybe like a Dragon Dancing Scrafty, things like that. My faster offensive Pokemon really had a tough time matching his pace, which was something I was very scared of, and I can almost assume he's going to bring Sticky Webs. And with that in mind, I was just like, man, crap. What are we going to do? So I had to kind of think of a way that, like, I'm not going to be outspeeding this guy. I do have my own Sticky Webs user, but even if I get up my own Sticky Webs, like, I don't know if that's going to seal the deal because I have to be running Scarf or setting up to outspeed things on his team. And so things like Latias, Vivillon, I do have Thundurus, of course, which is a Pokemon that really is a highlight of this team against his team, but I do have Vivillon. He does have Vivillon and Latias, who can both defog away. Armaldo can rapid spin away the hazards. Houndoom, and the thing is, like, ones like Houndoom, Terrakion, and Feraligatr still outsped my team after boosts if I hadn't boosted up alongside them. So specifically Houndoom, Terrakion outspeed a lot of my team. Everything except Thundurus is outsped, and Thundurus is even outsped by Houndoom. So that was definitely a really big point of nerve-wracking, like, something that just really rattled my cage a bit. Just the fact that he was gonna guaranteed be outpacing me. So basically, that's where I said, you know what? If he's gonna be outpacing me, I'm gonna have to outpredict him. And what that comes with is bulky offense, and that is what I excel in. So I think this is a team that, while it was forced me to build a certain way, I think I feel very prepared to take him on, because basically the strategy that I kind of came to the conclusion of was, if he's bringing Sticky Webs, I'm not even going to care about speed. Screw speed. I didn't need it anyways. I'm just going to focus on hitting him and taking hits. Bulky offense in a nutshell. So with that said, I really invested into mons that were like the bulkier, more offensive side that maybe were a bit slower. That's going to be mons you're going to see such as Goodra, Escavalier, and Druddigan. Mons you just can really specialize in taking hits and then dishing back some pretty heavy damage. So without further ado, we're going to hop into the team itself, and I will see you guys shortly. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we are with the team itself. First up, you know, I gotta say, as we just talked about, we got a lot of problems with taking hits from this team. Well, we got a lot of problems being outpaced by this team. So we gotta really focus on being able to take those hits when we can, and then proceeding to hit back incredibly hard, just punish him for his fragile offense that he has. So first up, you know, I was like, man, that Houndoom is scary. That Vivillon, if it's quiver dancing, is scary. Just things like that. So I had to find a way to just stop them in their tracks. And the answer to that for me was Assault Vest Goodra. And that's a pretty obvious set, honestly. Not a very crazy set. I was about to run Sleep Talk, actually, like a Sleep Talk resting set, which could have been pretty cool, but I decided that, he does have things like Feraligatr and Terrakion that can still really threaten that before I curse up too much, so it really wasn't the best time to bring it. But this set is actually, I think, a guaranteed 6-hit KO from Dark Pulse on Houndoom. So Houndoom I'm not too scared of. If Houndoom is running, that said, Houndoom does run a lot of utility moves. It could run Will-O-Wisp, but at the end of the day, it's unfortunate that I'm not running like a Rain Dance or Rest set, but it's not too bad because we do manage to salvage at least a kill on it, hopefully. He could run Destiny Bond, which is definitely something I'm actually very afraid of because Goodra does kind of have to be the Bond to take hits from all of its special attackers. So yeah, there's definitely some Mons that I am fearing hits from to say, there's definitely some coverage like utility moves I'm fearing from Houndoom. But that said, Outrage is a really strong attack to hit a lot of this team. He has no good dragon. He has, I think, very few dragon resists, if any, let alone he has no fairy types. So I can really safely click dragon moves against this guy. Sorry about that. So GUI is actually kind of nice because GUI allows me to slow down something like Feraligatr clicking Ice Punch, which might allow Thundurus to come in the next turn and get the KO on it. Because Goodra, is able to just... What's another really cool calc is that a non-life-orbed Latias, Draco Meteor, is a 3-hit KO. Draco Meteor is a 2-hit KO if it doesn't get a stat drop. Sorry, it's a 3-hit KO if it doesn't get a stat drop. So Draco Meteor is not going to be KOing this Goodra very easily. Just that massive Spadef. But beyond that, it's just pretty safe stab. Dragon Tail is nice because he has a massive Rocks weakness on his team. So if I can just start clicking that safe Dragon Tail and maybe just get force switches, force chip damage, that can really pave the way for the clean by Thundurus. Thundurus is this game's cleaner. Thunder Wave is really nice because it's a one-off chance to slow down or to stop an offensive Pokemon before it gains too much traction against us. Of course, I do fear things like Lumberry, Terrakion, Lumberry on Feraligatr, but if he does forgo Lumberry, he forgo Life Orb on those Pokemon, he does miss out on a lot of KOs, such as a KO on KOs on Druddigon and Escavalier at +1. So if he forgoes those on Terrakion and Feraligatr, I'm not too worried because and he goes for Lumberry because hopefully at that point I will have realized that and I will be able to stop that. I will realize based on damage or something. Hopefully. But this is actually a physical Thundurus because I was worried about a Calm Minding Latias and also Focus Blast has really crappy accuracy and I didn't know if I wanted to play around with it. Really, this is kind of one of the many cleaners on this team because cleaners are really effective against Hyper Offense in the sense that Hyper Offense just gets outpaced by fast cleaners. The speed is interesting, and I'm giving Dan a lot of credit with the speed tier that I'm hitting right here, because I'm guessing, actually I'm just going to speed creep a little more. Yeah, let's just do like that. I have a gut feeling that he is going to try to outspeed Victini with a Scarf, which means Victini's Scarf Sticky Webs is going to be outsped by things like Frostlass, things like Latias, and those Pokemon. So I have a feeling he really is going to want to hit that 330 speed tier to outspeed guaranteed a Jolly Victini or a Timid Victini, which means I'm going to go so far as to say that I'm going to run this speed tier and invest a little bit extra into bulk, which, could be cool, might not, doesn't really matter, but might end up mattering, but I have a feeling that he's going to invest into that speed tier. So I'm going to, it's kind of this game where, I have a lot of faith in Dan's expertise as a player, which means I have faith that Dan will try to counter speed me, which means, in return, that I can try to counter speed his counter speed. And it's an interesting dance you have to play with these high-end players. And the problem is that the more this happens in the league, eventually everybody's going to be counter speeding each other, and eventually just nobody should ever run anything less than max speed ever again. So it's kind of a curious thing, but it's something that I think might really get the jump on him, as that extra little bit of bulk allows him to take maybe an Ice Beam from Frostlass or a Psyshock from Latias better with Life Orb. And then the coverage is honestly just phenomenal with the set. Crunch is I have two Pokemon running knockoff on this team, so Crunch is nice as a reliable way to beat things like Calm Mind Latias, as well as the fact that defensive Calm Mind Latias knockoff would not 2-hit KO. So Crunch is nice with the defense drop, and the fact that damage does not go down afterwards. Superpower hits like Houndoom and Terrakion. Thunder Punch is a reliable stab move. Next up, we've got this really, really sick Druddigan set. And 1 second, I just want to see if there's the problem is there's no physical dragon type moves that benefit from sheer force, which is a sad life I lead. But all right, so here we got a really cool Druddigan set, or not super really cool, but fairly cool. This is basically the dedicated lead of choice because I remember watching Dan run a ridiculously heat taunt Frost Blast with Thunder Wave and stuff. And so what this Druddigan aims to do is if he decides to lead with a Frost Blast like that again, Stealth Rocks guaranteed go up. And if I can keep Stealth Rocks on the field with this Druddigan, I am basically saying to Dan, because his hazard clears are Latias, Armaldo, and Vivillon. Vivillon, obviously, Stealth Rocks kind of really hinder it, so it's not very effective as a defogger. Latias, I can pressure the crap out of with this team. If Latias comes in, Lancelot over here is going to be putting in work against it. So I feel pretty confident in my my Druddigan that he can get up rocks. And then from there, Sucker Punch is nice because between Sucker Punch on this and the priority moves we're running on Kecleon, we can guarantee KO for Alligator. So for Alligator setup, we can just out-prioritize it. Hopefully, if it's not running Aqua Jet, hopefully. But if he runs Aqua Jet, he really is foregoing power on things like Escavalier and Avalugg. So he really, I feel like, has to run Waterfall over Aqua Jet against me. So I am feeling pretty nice about this set. Thunder Punch is nice coverage against him. That said, I don't know if I'd say these two moves are definitely subject to change. I haven't really found anything that's like, oh man, I should really run that instead. I'm running Thunder Punch because this thing does take a +1 Ice Punch. Sorry, it does take Ice Punch from a no investment. I actually kind of want to. I did have a different. I had a bunch of different team drafts, and I kind of want to take this set's EVs because this set's EVs were a little more heat. So we're just gonna put those EVs in, and I'm gonna mess around with that. All right, so these EVs actually allow me to take a +1 Ice Punch from for Alligator, Thunder Punch it, and Sucker Punch KOs it. As you can imagine, it's kind of an issue. For Alligator, it is kind of scary, although we do have Avalugg now, so maybe that was unnecessary. Yeah, maybe that was unnecessary. I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe that was unnecessary. I'm going to have to think about this more. This Druddigan set definitely open to some experimentation, but it's the reliable lead of choice with Stealth Rocks. The moves, obviously, I might change the coverage, but Stealth Rocks and Stealth Rocks and Sucker Punch are there to stay. Next up, we've got a Life Orb Kecleon with Fake Out, Shadow Sneak, Sucker Punch. This guy is the prioritizer. He basically is an awesome revenge killer against this team. The only mon he can't really effectively revenge kill is Terrakion. Also, I kind of don't want to run Knockoff. I kind of want to run Drain Punch for Houndoom, but ultimately I feel like I have really good answers to Houndoom and a really good answer in Goodra. So, I don't know. Knockoff is kind of cool against this team. If we go over to the Teambuilder, Knockoff is kind of neat against this team as it does allow us to like hit Frost Blast or something. But is Frost Blast going to be the mon we're worried about, you know? It also lets us avoid the Side Shock from Latias, is something else I was thinking about. So I really don't know. It might end up being Drain Punch or Power Up Punch alternatively, but I kind of worry about those. So yeah, that's another move. There's a lot of moves on this team that are open to a little bit of interpretation, a little bit of thinking still. So we're going to be talking about those. But basically, this is the team's really, really reliable revenge killer against things like Houndoom, Fake Out plus Shadow Sneak. Even though Shadow Sneak, that's still basically a 60 power stab move, priority move. Latias gets absolutely bopped. Between Fake Out and Sucker Punch, that's 120 stab revenge killing tool. Coming off a Life Orb, very strong attack stat. Tracking obviously not as good, but for Alligator, we do like 75% to for Alligator. We do a ton to Galvantula. It just does massive damage across the board. So we are going to have to think about that last set. Unfortunately, this thing doesn't get like Mach Punch or Bullet Punch. If it got one of those moves, that would be bomb. But it's unfortunately doesn't, so this move is definitely going to be up to interpretation. Next up, we've got Assault Vest, Escavalier. This is the item might end up being Aquaberry. I'm not positive because I am expecting Hidden Power Fire on Latias. Except the fact that Escavalier with Assault Vest can take a couple hits from this team a lot better. Namely, it can take Dracos from Latias, also from Galvantula, as well as even Frostlass if it has to. It can take those hits a lot better. Also Vivillon, because this thing is running Overcoat. I didn't really see the need to run either of the... Shell Armor is nice, because I get crit, and I get upset when I get critted. And Swarm could have been nice, but... I feel like I was already hitting so hard, and the thing is, like, I don't know. Sleep Powder Vivillon is a thing, I guess. So if he wanted to run Sleep Powder on Vivillon, now we have a really good answer to that. So Assault Vest is kind of cool. That I don't know if Vivillon gets Heat Wave actually, but if it does, Aquaberry again might have been the play. So maybe Aquaberry. I also feel like if he's running Hidden Power Fire, he's gonna realize that Assault Vest doesn't allow a KO with it. So, like, Aquaberry might end up being the play because he won't know that I'm holding Aquaberry. He might assume I'm banded or something. So, yeah, maybe we'll just go Aquaberry. I don't know if Vivillon gets Heat Wave. I don't think it does. That wouldn't really make sense because it's a bug. It's just going to fry itself, right? Anyways, last up, we've got Escavalier with Toxic, Protect, Rapids, and Recover. I really couldn't justify not bringing a Hazard Clear against the team, even though I really don't care about webs, as you can see with this team. Everything's either slow as crap, uses priority, or is already immune to webs anyways. Against a team with as many spikes as this team has, against something like Frostlass, I couldn't super justify not bringing a Rapid Spinner. I don't know if I'm expecting him to bring spikes Frostlass, but just in case, I am kind of worried. So Toxic, Protect, Rapid Spin, Recover, basically just with this Spadef investment. This Spadef investment allows me to take a Draco from Latias and Protect and then Recover. I can Toxic up, I can Toxic something like Destiny Bond, because let's say Houndoom wants to switch in and I can get off a Toxic. It's also a very reliable answer to Fraligator, who, as you can tell probably, is a mon I am crazy scared of. Because Fraligator, set up Fraligator with Life Orb is definitely terrifying. This is basically a really, really reliable answer to that, because at +1 or +2, it's like a 2 KO, and I can just keep Protect and Toxicing it out to the point where like it really can't touch me. And finally, once it is in range, these two Pokemon are really great revenge killers against it. So that is basically the team, guys. There obviously are some things that may change before the battle, so we're going to have to see about those. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, leave a comment, rate, subscribe, all that good stuff. It is always very appreciated. Until next time, I will see you guys later. Kraken Nation out.